Welcome to Home Biz Tax Talk. My name is Lysandra Everett. I am the Home Biz Tax Lady, where I help home business owners win the tax game. Home Biz Tax Talk airs Monday through Friday, 9 o'clock-ish. And when you tune into my show, you're going to hear about topics that are important to the home business community. Right now, a big conversation that is going on several levels is about 401ks, retirement plans. So specifically, let's talking about the taxation of withdrawals from your retirement plan. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that today, because what's happening is as our financial landscape is really changing. People are still losing their jobs. People are facing stagnant wages. So they're looking to the 401k and this big pot of money as a way to sustain themselves. So I want to talk about, how that looks. Okay. So first of all, understand the difference between a withdrawal and a rollover, okay? So a withdrawal is you physically taking the money out. A rollover is when you go from one qualified retirement plan into another. Now, depending on the plan, some plans roll over into each other, depending on the job you have, who, manages their investments and all that the companies themselves can do this whole behind the scenes rollover type thing, and it's done. But there's also instances where you may take the money out of your retirement plan and physically put it into another plan yourself. And there's a limited time to do that for you to avoid taxes and penalties. Okay. So now let's talk about this whole withdrawal of the funds from the 401k from your retirement plan. So first of all, if you are under 59 and a half, you will incur a 10% penalty unless you can prove some sort of hardship. Okay. And each retirement plan has their own guidelines for that. So you have to get with your retirement plan administrator. Now, there's also a difference between, the withdrawal, the rollover, and taking a loan. With some plans, you can take a loan out against your 401k. Now, when you take a loan out against your 401k, that income is not taxable, okay? But you have to pay that back, okay? Now, if you take a loan out from your 401k, and let's say, in the meantime of you paying this back, that, you lose your job or something happens, okay, then or you don't pay it back, then that money becomes taxable. Now, at the rate it becomes taxable, that depends on your income tax rate, in which you really won't know that unless you know what your effective tax rate is, knowing how much money you have made, because depending on the amount of the withdrawal, you can be bumped into a whole new tax bracket, depending on what that is, right? So you have to know that, when you withdraw money from your 401k, if you're under 59 and a half and there is no hardship, you're going to incur a 10% penalty, and then that money is taxable at your income tax rate. Now, there are some people that do have federal income taxes withheld from their withdrawal, but a lot of times it's not enough because that bumps you up into another tax bracket, which we're talking about just your straight income tax. So you have to be very prudent about what you're doing with that withdrawal. So like setting aside, X amount, maybe 20% of that after you get it, to cover your potential tax liability. Because that is the one thing that will put people in tax trouble in a minute, is that if you take out, let's say you take out $20,000 from your 401k and you don't have any taxes taken out, that's $20,000 worth of income that you have received that you haven't taken out taxes. And so let's do some quick math on what you would normally do. $20,000 times 0.28. Okay, so that's potentially a $5,600 tax bill, just depending on what your tax bracket is, because normally when you have taxes withheld, you have about 28 to 30% of your paycheck that's withheld for federal and state taxes, right? So at 28% of $20,000, that's $5,600. So so don't just take money out of your 401k and not take the taxes into consideration, because you'll wind up in tax debt, and then that's a whole nother complete ball of wax that you ain't even trying to get into. Okay. So taking money from your retirement account is not something to be done all willy-nilly. If you can take out a loan and repay your 401k, that's certainly more advantageous than taking a withdrawal altogether, because then you're going to have those income taxes to pay. But it just depends on what the situation is, and everybody's situation is different. You have people who borrow against their 401k to invest in real estate and all of that stuff, and they pay it back just fine. Life is good. All different types of retirement plans have different rules. So you got to go with the plan administrator to see what you can do and what are the terms of, repayment. If you're taking a loan, if you're rolling it over, like is going from point A to point B, then that's great. But if you physically take your money out to go put it into another retirement plan, you need to make sure that you are within that window so that you can avoid penalties and taxes. Okay. So that's it with the 401k. But again, the last thing you want to do is take money out of your retirement. All right. Like, I get it that, you might need the money, and that's one thing, but don't just go take it out all willy-nilly just because it's easier. Don't do that, because you're sacrificing your future for a short-term discomfort. So you just make that your absolute, your last resort for taking money out of your retirement account. And I'll be really honest with you. I wish somebody had that conversation with me about, 25 years ago, right? So that's it when it comes down to taxes. To say exactly what your tax rate would be for withdrawing from your 401k, you don't know, because it's based on your income. So you've got your W-2 income. We have some people that are business owners that have, different types of income. You got Social Security income. So, exactly how that is going to look, everybody's situation is different. There's nobody that can tell you exactly how much you're going to pay unless they're looking at all of your documentation to see exactly what kind of income that you have. And they know your deductions and credits and all of that stuff. Okay. So that's it for today's episode of Home Biz Tax Talk. Again, we air Monday through Friday, 9:00-ish, and you can come here to get your questions answered about your home business taxes. All right. Have a great day, and I will see you all next time. Bye.